stigma around rappers. Mainly that, when it comes to them, they always end up in jail. Sometimes for big things, sometimes for little things. But either way you look at it, they end up in jail, and that's really bad. To be clear, the stigma itself is unfair and doesn't take into account the rappers who honestly don't end up in jail. And yet, as 2021 has already shown us, there are plenty of reasons for this stigma to be talked about. So allow us to show you the rappers who got locked up in 2021 so far. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 5. NBA YoungBoy. If we can be honest with you here, NBA YoungBoy is someone whom you know is a bit of a troublemaker in the rap world and beyond. Not the least of which is because of how he treats people, especially the ladies in his life. By that we mean he has multiple baby mamas, some of whom aren't mentally stable, and he's had brushes with the law before. But now, he's under arrest for various stupid things, including trying to outrun the police. LAPD and federal agents attempted to pull over a vehicle the troubled rapper was a passenger in, but the rapper bolted on foot. Police used a K-9 officer to track his scent to his hiding place. Law enforcement sources told TMZ the cops set up a perimeter and used the K-9 to sniff YoungBoy out. The police dog didn't bite him, but did locate him quickly. Police executed a search warrant and located an unregistered firearm in the vehicle. This is just the latest in a long line of things he's done, and some might wonder whether he'll go to jail for a long time because of this. He might, but he did get released and even went to social media to try and make a plea for help. But given his personality and past exploits, we don't really have a lot of faith that he'd accept that help. Number 4. NLE Choppa. This one is a bit odd and really tragic. Because if you recall NLE Choppa in 2020, he seemed to be turning over a new leaf. He admitted that he had done wrong in his rap career, worked himself too hard, put too much pressure on himself, went and did questionable things with his lyrics, and so on and so forth. He promised he would do better for himself, his listeners, and his daughter. And then, he got arrested. Specifically, he was in Davie, Florida, and charged with carrying a concealed firearm, possession of Xanax, possession of cannabis, and burglary of an unoccupied structure, according to the arrest report. NLE Choppa told Davie police he was attempting to retrieve a watch from a vehicle in a tow yard. The vehicle was towed during an unrelated incident, which also said the vehicle wasn't in that particular tow yard. So there's clearly something going on here, even if we don't know exactly what. The arrest report said police were tipped off to the incident after being alerted to people in a secured vehicle storage lot. The report said a dispatcher, while watching via live camera feed, observed 2 vehicles pull into the parking lot of the closed business. Several people got out of the cars and jumped the fence. The arresting officer, after watching the video, reported that he noticed a black male wearing a black ski mask and black jacket with white sleeves, who turned out to be NLE Choppa, the report said. He and another black male left a silver Ford Expedition, jumped over a gate, and walked around the entire tow yard. The report said officers stopped the Expedition while it was in the parking lot of the tow yard. And as NLE Choppa and a colleague exited the rear seat of the vehicle, officers saw they were sitting on top of 2 guns, a Glock 27 with an extended magazine and an AK-47 Draco pistol. The guns were fully loaded with a round in the chamber, and no one claimed ownership or knowledge of the guns, the report said. The report also said a purple and yellow backpack was found in the Expedition, containing 7 grams of marijuana and 3.5 Xanax pills. NLE Choppa claimed ownership of the backpack. So yeah, that's a problem for NLE Choppa, because he was arrested for possession of drugs and illegal firearms, and as a result of that, should things not go his way, he could end up with 10 years in prison. Granted, that hasn't happened yet, and it's possible he could get a lesser sentence or even get the charges dismissed against him, especially since he's claiming the drugs were planted on him, even though he admitted it was his bag, so how does that work? Either way though, this is hardly the way to go for someone trying to turn their life around, right? Number 3. Celebs. This was one of the more shocking events to happen in 2021 in the rap world, and it involved the rapper Celebs. Celebs, aka Ricky Lamar Hawk, was arrested after DeKalb police investigated the recent passing of 34-year-old Frederick Rooks. Hawk was booked into the DeKalb jail, police spokeswoman Michaela Vincent said in the statement. He was being held without bond at the time. Rooks is the cousin of Celebs, which makes this an even more twisted crime in its own right. Police responded to a shots fired call January 21st around 3:30 a.m. in the Panthersville area, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution previously reported. They found Rooks' body at the scene with multiple wounds. Though it's unclear at present why he was there, it's suspected that he knew someone in the area, and that's why he was there so early in the morning. I think it is connected to this house, Bryant said at the time. We're still doing a little bit more investigation. The people in the house know him, but he really doesn't live there. So we're trying to see what's going on. Responding officers were able to gather video from multiple residences' security cameras, according to the incident report. The video showed several cars fleeing the scene at high speeds, and the footage captured shots fired. 8 casings were collected at the scene, the report said. At first, there wasn't a clear suspect, but according to the police, after a thorough investigation, which lines up with the dates as the passing was on the 21st and the arrest wasn't made until February 1st, they not only identified Salento as the cousin to Rooks, but the man who did it. Or at the very least, that is what they are sticking to. The motive and logic behind the killing has not been released, and it has to be something pretty twisted for him to kill his own cousin. There honestly haven't been too many updates on this situation, which makes it all the darker. Number 2. YFN Lucci. Rapper YFN Lucci hopes an Atlanta judge will release him on bond because he has 4 hungry underage children to feed. Or at least, that's what he's been trying to convey. Lucci, real name Rayshawn Bennett, was arrested along with 2 other men and charged in the shooting death of an associate, 28-year-old James Adams, on December 10, 2020. Lucci went on the run for 2 weeks before turning himself in late Wednesday, January 13th. A judge denied his request for bail at a bond hearing on January 14th. According to legal documents obtained by HotNewHipHop.com, Lucci asked the judge to set bond because he has 4 underage children whom he financially supports. He also said he provides a home and financial support for his mother in Fulton County, Georgia. The 29-year-old rapper assured the judge that he is not a flight risk, despite taking his time turning himself in. So you can hardly blame the judge for going and denying such things. If you can't do the time and all that, right? Number 1. Quavo? Okay, to end this list, we're looking at someone who might be arrested soon based on recent events. You see, his breakup with rapper Saweetie has been getting talked about a lot recently, mainly because the two had a physical altercation in an elevator, and people have been freaking out about it because of what it represents and how long it took for this footage to get out. The two did make statements on the incident. This unfortunate incident happened a year ago. While we have reconciled since then and moved past this particular disagreement, there were simply too many other hurdles to overcome in our relationship. And we have both since moved on, Saweetie said in a statement to NBC News. I kindly ask that everyone respect my privacy during this time. Quavo told people he didn't physically abuse Saweetie. We had an unfortunate situation almost a year ago that we both learned from and moved on from, he said in a statement to People magazine. I haven't physically abused Saweetie and have real gratitude for what we did share overall. Very odd to say given that we have video evidence of said abuse. But there's nothing we can do about this at present. But given that, and the rumor that he may have beaten up a radio DJ also because of Saweetie, the police might be looking into him soon. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the rappers who have gotten locked up recently in early 2021 or late 2020? Do you think it's shocking that we're only a quarter of the way through 2021 and yet rappers are already getting locked up? Which ones do you feel might get locked up next? Do you think these arrests are going to keep adding to the stigma against rappers? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and we'll see you next time on the channel.